All right, shalom, shalom, family. All right, I want to start off with giving all honor and glory to the Most High God in the name of Yahweh Shah, a.k.a. Jesus Christ, right? And we gonna just hop right into it, man. So upon me waking up this morning, you know what I'm saying, read the scriptures, I pray, you know what I'm saying, do my little morning routine, brush my teeth, or all that. And I hop on to see the news, man, and this is one of the first things that popped up. It says, father of a 12-year-old detained while taking out the trash says he will not accept a police apology, right? And so 9 times out of 10, I already figured it was a young black boy. And come to my knowledge, it is, man. So we best to watch the video real quick.
The police chief in Lansing, Michigan, issued an apology after an incident in which a black child was handcuffed by officers while he was taking out the trash behind his home. CNN's Isabel Rosales is following the developments for us. Isabel, what are you learning?
Hey, Fred. Lansing police say that this was a case of mistaken identity, calling it wrong place, wrong time. And in fact, they released these pictures, a side-by-side, showing the suspect and then a 12-year-old boy that they mistakenly detained. And you can see right here that they're wearing pretty similar clothing. And this is what they said led to the wrongful detainment of that child. So this was all captured by a neighbor who had their cell phone out. They captured video of the boy in handcuffs and then his father shouting from several feet away. The boy was briefly placed in the back of a police car, and then he was uncuffed and released back to his father once the police realized that this was not the person that they were looking for. This video, posted on TikTok, garnered thousands of views and comments. The father, Michael Bernard, spoke with WILX, that's a CNN affiliate, saying that he was washing the dishes and then told his 12-year-old son, Tashawn, to take out the trash. And here's what he said happened in an off-camera interview.
I get concerned when I didn't see him come back within that period of time. And I walk out through here, look out, and to my surprise, the cops had him in handcuffs. I was mad about it, because I was like, my son didn't never do it breaking the law. So I rushed down and asked the cop, what's the problem? Well, you have my son in handcuffs, just like that.
And the family has since attended a virtual news conference publicly speaking out about what happened. Meanwhile, Lansing police say that they were, during that time, searching for a suspect in a string of car thefts. And they had a witness that described the suspect as wearing neon shorts and then a white shirt. And then that's when they saw the boy, Tashawn, and detained him since he was wearing similar clothing and was actually in the same apartment complex as where that witness saw their suspect running off to. The police chief here, Chief Ellery Sosby, has issued an apology. Here's part of the statement that he put out, saying, as the chief of police, I want to apologize that this incident had such an effect on this young man and his family. I'm asking for the community to consider all of the facts of the situation before making a judgment. The relationship with our community has been and will continue to be a top priority for the Lansing Police Department. Meanwhile, the Bernard family, they have retained an attorney here, and the attorney claims that the boy was actually wearing a gray shirt, not a white shirt, and that the police should have also seen that there was a noticeable age difference between the boy, 12 years old again, and their suspect. They are considering legal action now against the city. Fred.
All right. Thank you so much, Isabel Rosales. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Well, that's all I needed to hear. All right, so these are supposed to be
4 members of the House.
Let me pause this. Okay, these police officers are supposed to be some of the most top trained people in America in order to, so to say, protect the American communities, right? How are they that dumb to where they mistake a grown man for a young child? The boy is 12 years old. He's a little kid, right? And it's not that they're dumb. What it is the so-called white man, he's so upset and prideful that he couldn't catch the real guy that he just went after the first black kid he seen, man. He went after the first person of color that he seen just because they couldn't get the original suspect. That's what it really was, right? But now we got to explain this biblically to why this is happening to our people, right? Because our people need to know this, right? But I'm gonna read the article, right? In case you guys didn't hear the video, it says the father of a 12-year-old black boy who was briefly detained by police while taking out the trash at his home in Lansing, Michigan, said Monday he could not bring himself to accept an apology from the city's police department. He says, "I will never accept an apology. My son did not deserve to be treated that way. They treated him no way, no shape, no form." Michael Bernard told CNN, "Justice for my son, that's all I want, nothing else." Bernard, who had been washing dishes in the kitchen, became concerned when his son, Tashawn Bernard, didn't come back from taking out the trash. He went outside to check on his son, only to find him in handcuffs. Right? So, imagine you in the kitchen with your son or your daughter, your young son or your daughter, right? And you simply ask them to take out the trash. You know what I'm saying? Time goes by, and you get to wondering, where's my child? And you walk out and you see the so-called white man got him damn chained up. It'll make you infurious. It will make you mad, man. It will make you see the oppression that our people's going through. But we're about to get it in the Bible, man. Let's get the book of Lamentations 4:17. We're about to give the people a biblical understanding on why this is happening to our people, right? Through the Bible. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 4, and verse 17, and it reads, as for us, hold on, it's like you. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 4 and 17, and it reads, as for us. So I'm going to read again. The book of Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 17. As for us, our eyes as yet failed, for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that cannot save us. Right? So it says, our eyes yet failed for our vain help. These police officers, these so-called police officers, are supposed to be here to protect the American community. They're supposed to be there to protect our sons and daughters. But that's not what's going on. That's why it says, as for us, our eyes yet failed for our vain help. We have no help. We have no help through the fire department, through the police department, through the justice system, through these food places they put in our communities, right? It's no help. It's all vain, right? It's all useless to our people. It's all meant to destroy our people, right? They're all employed against the Black, Hispanic, and Native American man. These institutions they have set up is for their people, right? It's for the so-called white man and his sons and his daughters, right? And these other nations, right? But I'm gonna read again. It's the book of Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 17. As for us, our eyes as yet fail for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us, right? And that's what the black man does. That's what these Christians, pastors, teach our people to do, is to rely on the so-called white man, right? Rely on them to teach your children. Rely on them for religious doctrine, right? And it says we have watched for a nation that could not save us, right? You know what I'm saying? Our people want to go to Medicaid, food stamps, all of that, but they're not going to save us. Stop looking for the so-called white man to save you, right? The so-called black man, you know what I'm saying? Somebody breaking your house, you call the police, and when the police show up, you get shot, you get beat, right? And they calling them a mistaken identity, right? Right? We have watched for a nation that could not save us, right? Verse 18, it says, they hunt our steps, that we cannot go in our streets. Right, so that's the point I wanted to get with in this Lamentations. I'm gonna read again the book of Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 18. It says, they hunt our steps that we cannot go in our streets, right? You cannot even send your young child across the street, down the street, to throw away some trash without him, the so-called white man, kidnapping them, man, and grabbing them up and roughing them up and traumatizing them, right? It says, I'm gonna read again the book of Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 18. They hunt our steps that we cannot go in our streets. Our end is near. Our days are fulfilled, for our end is come. Verse 19, our persecutors are swifter than the eagles of heaven. They pursued us upon the mountains. They lay wait for us in the wilderness. He said our persecutors, these people that's persecuting us, these police officers, these military people, all these white folks, they say our persecutors are swifter than the eagles of heaven. The Most High is putting an identifier on who it's talking about. It's talking about the nation of America, man. Those are the persecutors who are swifter than the eagles, man. The so-called white man. He's pointing them out, right? He said they pursued us upon the mountains and laid wait for us in the wilderness. They're hunting us everywhere, right? You go to the mountain, you try to go to the mountains, some hills, the so-called white man gonna be there trying to arrest you. You go somewhere in the wilderness, the so-called white man gonna be there trying to arrest you, right? All right, moving on. Let's get the book of Proverbs, chapter 3. Let's get the book of Proverbs, chapter 4. Verse 6, verse 13. Let's start at verse 13. This book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 13. And it reads, and this is for the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American, man, to show you our people are going through this hell, this trauma by the hand of the so-called white man and all his allies. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 13. It says, "Take fast hold of instruction, let her not go." Right, and that instruction is talking about the Bible, talking about these commandments, right? The book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 13. "Take fast hold of instruction, let her not go. Keep her, for she is thy life." Right, so this wisdom, this instruction that the Most High has given our people, because the Bible is an instruction book an instruction book and a history book and a book of prophecy towards the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. It's not for the whole world, right? Does that and what we just read in Lamentations, does that they hunt our steps in our streets, right? Does that apply to every nation on the world, or is that specifically talking about the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans getting persecuted in America, right? And around and all over the four corners of the earth, right? I'm gonna read it again though. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 13. It says, "Take fast hold of instruction, let her not go." It says, "Keep her, for she is thy life. Enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men." Right? Verse 15, "Avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it, and pass away. For they sleep not except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall." Right? So we're going to go through that. Verse 14, it says, "Enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men." Right? So you know what I'm saying, from on a double fold level, it says, "Enter not into the path of the wicked." If you a so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American person, don't be going to damn parties filled with them Edomites, clubs filled with Edomites, the so-called white man, venues, golf places. You going on vacation, you a damn so-called black man, you go on vacation with your white woman and her family, and you end up somewhere dead in the woods. Right? Like, Get Out. Like the movie Get Out. Right? The Most High is telling you, right? That's an instruction. Don't go in the way of the wicked and go not in the way of evil men. Jake, you wonder why you go to these white parties and you get damn jacked up. You get arrested. Something happens to you, right? The damn so-called white woman tries to fake say you raped her, and that's why all these damn college athletes and NBA players got all these rape charges against them, because the so-called white woman done lied on them and said he raped her and stuff, man. Right? It's he telling you, "Enter not to the path of the wicked and go not to the way of evil men." Verse 15 says, "Avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it, and pass away." So, and this is precepts that we got to be teaching our children, right? Like, if the father told the son to go take the trash out, right? He should be teaching him these precepts. He should know these precepts to tell him. It says, "Avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it, and pass away." So if they say the young black boy, I don't know what exactly happened, but say the young black boy, he knows that, you know what I'm saying, our enemies hunt our streets. He knows that these police officers are out to get people, right? Even though he's 12 years old, you know what I'm saying, we still have to be aware in this captivity, right? So when you go passing the street, just look around, see if you go outside getting ready to take out the trash, and you see damn 4 police officers all lined up in their cars looking suspicious. Look, man, just wait to take the trash out. Go back, say, "Dad, there's a whole bunch of police officers outside looking weird. I don't feel comfortable taking the trash out right now." Right? Instead of you walking past 4 damn demons and then they hop all on you, right? And lock you up and put you in the back of a car and kidnap you, right? These instructions we'll be telling our children, right? Verse 16, this is the main point I want to get. The book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 16, it says, "For they sleep not," talking about the wicked, "except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall." And that's why I said earlier in the video, like, he obviously didn't get the right suspect, right? He obviously didn't, the guy that he was trying to get down for stealing cars or whatever, even though, who knows, allegedly, if that was true, they wasn't able to catch him, right? It said he got away on foot. So they were so mad that they didn't lock up a so-called black man, that they said, "Look, I'm gonna take this young black boy and cause him damn trauma and hell and try to take him away from his family," right? I'm gonna read again. The book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 16. "For they sleep not except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause something to fall." Meaning they're going to be up all night and day. These evil people, these evil men, right? They're going to be up all night and day until they, you know what I'm saying, cause trauma and hell to a so-called Israelite, a Black, Hispanic, and Native American man, woman, or child, right? Right? Let's they hold on, before I get that last point. It says they cannot sleep. They cannot sleep. They cannot sleep at night unless they cause somebody, a black, Hispanic, a Native American man, woman, or child, unless they cause them pain or anguish. That's how demonic and evil these our enemies are, and we have to be aware of these things, right? We got to blow the trumpet in Zion, right? All right, moving on. Let's get the book of Baruch. Let's get the book of Baruch, chapter 3, verse 8. This is the book of Baruch. I'm going to start at verse 7. This is the book of Baruch, chapter 3, verse 7. And it reads, "And for this cause thou hast put thy fear in our hearts, to the intent that we should call upon thy name, and praise thee in our captivity. For we have called to mind all the iniquity of our forefathers that sinned before thee." Right? And Jake, who don't even know the truth, the so-called black man, Native American man, and Mexican man, who don't even know the truth of the Bible, that the Israelites, they always reference their ancestors. They say, this is the strength of my ancestors. My ancestors are giving me power, and all this folly and stuff. But this is what the Most High is telling you. He says, I'm going to read it again. This is the book of Baruch, chapter 3, verse 7. It says, "And for this cause thou hast put thy fear in our hearts, to intent that we should call upon thy name." So the Most High said he's going to put fear in your heart. He's going to put traumatizing stuff in your life to the intent that you should call upon his name. As you call upon his name and ask and beg for mercy, right? To turn back to the Most High, right? It says that we should call upon thy name and praise thee in our captivity. This is not talking about everybody. This Bible is not talking about the whole world. He said he's putting his chosen people through traumatizing events to the intent that we're going to call upon his name in our captivity, because we are still in the land of our enemies, right? We got brought here in slavery, right? The so-called our Latino brothers, our Native American brothers, they went into slavery too. You know what I'm saying? They got spread across the world, right? They got their families taken from them. They don't have conquistadors come take their land, right? Just like us. It says, "For we have called to mind all the iniquity of our forefathers that sinned before thee." That's the ancestor part I was talking about. This is what the Most High wanted us to do. He says, "For we have called to mind all the iniquity of our forefathers," right? Because our forefathers, the Most High gave our fathers instructions thousands of years ago. He gave us instructions on to keep his commandments, and if you didn't keep the commandments, you was gonna perish. You was gonna get cursed, right? Verse 8 says, "Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for reproach and a curse, to be subject to payments, according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our God." Right? So the iniquity that caused us to be subject to payments, to be scattered to the four corners of the earth, to go into slavery, to be smitten before our enemies, is because we departed from the Lord our God, right? So that's what we have to bring into remembrance, right? That we're going through this because of sin. And in order to get out of this predicament, we have to stop sinning as a whole and turn back to these commandments as Israelites. This is a message to the black, Hispanic, Native American man, woman, and child, right? But I'm going to read it again because there's a lot in that. The book of Baruch, chapter 3, verse 8 says, "Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity." Yes, in America, in Mexico, in Cuba, in Jamaica, and Haiti, you are still in captivity. You're subject to payments, and a so-called white man is somewhere ruling over you, beating your back in, and making you pay all these damn taxes, making you pay rent, a light bill, a water bill. You got to go through him through everything. That's what's going on. It says, "Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach." Right? And in Deuteronomy, it said he's going to scatter us to the four ends of the earth. Right? It says he's going to scatter us, right? Through various slaveries, right? Verse 9, it says, "Hear, Israel, the commandments of life. Give ear to wisdom." Salakia. I'm going to read again the book of Baruch, chapter 3, verse 9. It says, "Hear, Israel, the commandments of life. Give ear to understand wisdom. How happened to Israel that thou art in thy enemy's land, that thou art waxen old in a strange country, that thou art defiled with the dead." Right? It's telling Israel, the so-called black, Hispanics, Native Americans, says, give ear to understand wisdom. Learn this Bible. Learn that it's talking about you. Learn that we are in captivity, right? And this is what he wants you to learn. He wants you to understand why we went into captivity. This is what he says. He said, verse 10, it says, "How happened to Israel that thou art in thy enemy's land, that thou art waxen old in a strange country, that thou art defiled with the dead." He said, should ask yourself these questions, right? The so-called Black, Hispanics, Native Americans should be asking themselves these questions, like why is God cursing us like this? Why is he putting us through all this, right? What did we do to make him take away our sons and our daughters, to throw all our people in jail, to have all the people on drugs, to go through all that slavery and oppression, and Jim Crow, and then George Floyd, and then the Sandra Bland's and the Trayvon Martins, all that? Why is this going on, right? Right? And we about to, and let's see who the enemies are that he's talking about, bro. It says, how it happened to Israel that thou art in thy enemy's land, right? Who could that be talking about? Let's get it in Deuteronomy. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse. Hold on, let's get this first. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and 32. It says, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thy hand, right? And that goes back to that video, right? It said, and there should be no might in thy hand when your sons and daughters are given to another people, right? He sends his son out to take the trash out. He goes outside only to find his son in handcuffs, and he literally has no might or power to get him back. He can't physically go get his sons back, right? What would have happened if he would have bugged out and tried to go get his son out that police car and fight the police? They would have killed him, right? They would have killed him and then got off free and been somewhere eating lunch with their family while this 12-year-old boy's father's dead for no reason, right? We have no power in our hand to get him, right? And even that, and this verse is going back to slavery too. When they was taking our sons and our daughters, we had no might in our hand to get them back. So we were looking and longing for them all the day long, right? Just imagine the so-called white man come run through your land or whatever, got all y'all in cages, right? You in a cage across from your son, right? And then you see another damn white man go give him a whole bunch of money, and he damn take your son away in chains while you still in the cage, right? Looking at him getting dragged away in chains. You screaming and crying. He's crying, screaming for your name, wanting you to save him. You can't do nothing because you locked in the cage your damn self. You know what I mean? It's sad. I'm read again. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and 32, it says, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thy hand, right? Now let's see who the enemies is that did this to us, man. Just in case anybody want to get damn simple. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68. It says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. So it's saying you're going to go into another slavery, this time by ships. And you're not going to see your homeland again, and then you're going to be sold to your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. Who did we get sold to? Who put us in slavery? Right, chiefly the so-called white men, and the Hamitic Africans, right, and the Arabs and the Chinese. They all had a part in it, but chiefly the so-called white men. Those are your enemies, and these other nations who all had a hand in it, right? Right. Let me get another precept going in on that. Let's get Leviticus 26 and 17. Right. Because you might want to say, why would God do that to us? What if we God's chosen people, why would he want to do that to us, right? Let's get Leviticus 26. Let's get Leviticus 26 and verse 17. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 26 and verse 17. It says, and I will set my face against you, ye shall be slain before your enemies. They that hate you shall reign over you, and ye shall flee when no man pursueth. And it says the Most High set his face against us. Why? Because we didn't keep the commandments. We didn't do what he said, right? So we started worshiping false gods, right? Started sleeping with heathen women, right? We were sacrificing our babies to Molech, right? Doing all these abominable things, right? The book of Leviticus, chapter 26 and 17 says, I will set my face against you, and ye shall be slain before your enemies. The enemies is the people that brought you into slavery, sold you into slavery. And it says, they that hate you shall reign over you, and ye shall flee when no one pursueth, right? So it says, they that hate you shall reign over you. Right now, that's why we have our young black children getting ran down on by grown white men, right? Grown white police officers that are full of hatred in their heart for the so-called black, Hispanic, and Native American woman. That police officer don't give a damn about how he just traumatized that little boy for life. You think he cares? No, because he hates him, right? And it says, they that hate you shall reign over you. So the black man trying to speak out and get peace and just, that's not going to work. Because why? You going to go to the judge. He hates you. So you're not, and you think that judge that you think he's going to give you any type of sympathy? The police officer, the captain of that police force, he came out with a so-called apology and said that boy was and I quote, he said he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Even though the little black boy was literally just taking out the trash, he was 12 years old, and he said, I want the community to consider all the facts. In so many words, I want the community to consider all the facts in the situation, right? Like what facts? He's 12 years old. What the facts is, what he really means by that is, come on now, it's a black kid. They steal, they rob. You got to consider that. That's what he's basically saying, right? A devil, right? Because they hate you, right? Now, let's get Revelation 18:4. Let's see, because this is what we got to do. This is the solution. This is the solution to stopping this. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 18, verse 4. And it says, and remind you, this is instruction to the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. That the Bible is an instruction book to the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans on how you should live your life and how to have deliverance and salvation, right? This is the book of Revelation, chapter 18, verse 4, and it says, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. Right? Salakia. Excuse me. I'm going to read again the book of Revelation, chapter 18, verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. So the Most High is telling us to come out of America, come out of Babylon, he's not saying go move to Egypt or go move to Africa. He's saying come out of her sins, come out of her philosophies and ways of living, come out of making money your God, come out of homosexuality, come out of stealing and robbing and this destructive rap music that they pushing, right? Come out of being a thot, come out of being a drug addict, right? And be an Israelite, be a real Israelite, be a real Hebrew, be God's chosen people by following these laws, statutes, and commandments, right? That's what he's saying. And I'm gonna read again. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 18, verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins and receive not her plagues. Now let's see what those plagues is. This is Revelation 18:8. It says, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord God who judges her. So Babylon, America, that's what's going to happen, is famine, death, mourning, right? And it says, and it's going to be utterly burned with fire. So if you don't come out of Babylon, or you don't come out of sin, right? If you want to be joined to America and you want to fight for America and all these heathen nations, right? He said you're going to be utterly burnt with fire, right? It's simple. Right, let's get, we got a couple more pieces. Let's get Revelations 12 and 12. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 12. And it reads, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. It says, woe is destruction. It says, woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Read again, the book of Revelation, chapter 12 and 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Right, so Satan, we're in the last days right now, and Satan knows he has a short time. He knows all these nations are and the devil is talking about the so-called white man. All these nations are dropping the dollar as the main currency, right? They're all teaming up against America to destroy it. America is been hated across the four corners of the earth But now these nations are starting to stand up, right? They starting to stand up, and they ready to stop getting bullied and pushed around by America, right? Let's get it right. So that's what's gonna happen, right? And it says the devil is gonna come down on you having great wrath, right? Because you know he has but a short time. So this is something you see with a young 12-year-old boy is taking out the trash, and a white man snatch him up and kidnap him and try to take him away from his father for no reason. That's gonna come times 20. That's gonna come times 100. It's gonna get to a point. It's gonna get to a point where they just gonna start kicking in doors and snatching up black folks and throwing y'all in camps, right? Throwing y'all in prisons, right? Killing y'all, murdering y'all in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Let's get that. Let's get that. What is it? Right. Here we go. This is the book of Jeremiah chapter 30 verse 7. It says, "Alas, for that day is great, so that is none like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it." Right? So it's gonna be a time called Jacob's trouble, and it's gonna be so bad. It's not gonna be a day like it, right? It's not gonna be another time like it, right? Because it's gonna be worse than slavery, right? And that's going into the devil coming down with great wrath. He's gonna try to get Jacob. That's the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? The 12 tribes of Israel, right? And it don't matter if you say, "Oh, I'm not an Israelite. I'm not," you know what I'm saying? "I don't believe in the Bible." It don't matter. By blood, they know the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the chosen people of God, right? They know this for a fact, right? So it don't matter if you claim it or not. It don't matter what camp you in. It don't matter if you a Muslim. It's going to come, right? Right. This last precept. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 6. I'm gonna start. Yeah, I'm gonna read it. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 6. It says, "And showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments." Right. So if you wanna have mercy upon the Lord, if you want the love from the Lord to get saved out of these things, for your children to stop getting snatched up by Edomites, for you to get out of poverty, for you to get off drugs, for you to get out of the sin of adultery, for you to stop being a murderer and a thief, right? It says to receive mercy of the Lord and to make it to the kingdom. It says he's going to show mercy unto thousands of them that love him and keep my commandments, right? So that's how you're going to have to do it. You're going to have faith in Jesus Christ, you know what I'm saying, whose real name is Yahweh Shah. You're going to have to trust in the Father, right? The Most High God of heaven and earth, right? The Lord of hosts, right? The dreadful and powerful God, right? The Alpha and Omega, right? The Ancient of Days, right? You're going to have to trust in him, right? Through his son, Yahweh Shah, right? But with that, I just want to say, man, stay safe, family, man. Watch your surrounding. Watch your kids, man. And just stay prayed up. But all right, shalom.